Shay hanging out in the studios today. Hope you guys are having a great day. I've got Casey and Lehman from WRCA in today. So we've got the winners from the Range Riders Rodeo this past weekend, as well as some other stuff. So
how are you, Shay?
I'm good, you know.
Shay Austin,
Oh,
that
yeah?
is.
The one, the only.
The one, the only. You're so much more. I mean, Craig, if you're listening, you knew I was going to say this. I mean, she's not giving me the cut your throat, time's running out stuff. I like Shay.
Because we just started.
I know, but usually he's already on to me. Usually he's
There's
already.
time. There's time for that to
Yeah, you just ask him about that, Shay.
You know, it doesn't surprise me because sometimes I do the same thing, and he's just like, "You gotta slow it down."
Oh, so
or
he's
speed
probably
it up.
going, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, so Lehman is the only rooster in the hen's nest today.
Heck yeah, man.
How does that feel? I'm usually
Yeah.
the only hen.
They're being gentle. They're not. I'm not feeling outnumbered or anything yet.
No, you should not. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You handsome thing. You.
Thank you, Hooper. Thank you.
So Range Riders was a blast this past weekend.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was. I went Friday and I had a blast. And of course, she called him Kurt Cobain, and it kills me.
Reinhardt.
We have our own special
He
people.
slammed himself up against the fence during the saddle bronc ride, and that was
I
interesting.
guarantee
Feel no
you,
pain.
if you, from a spectator standpoint, if you weren't having fun out there at the Range Riders deal Friday and Saturday, well, actually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you just weren't trying very hard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they had a great show and lots of fun stuff. Guys kind of getting mucked here and there, and so
It's
it made for
interesting.
good watching.
Not just guys competing, but we had a cameraman that's a supporter of us that got mucked out in the bronc riding. But that's
Oh,
okay.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. We're not going to mention any names. Where, but on a note to what Lehman said, 4th of July holds a special place in our hearts, being it celebrates our country. They hit it all the charts with their veterans and their kickoff to their
Yeah.
grand entry. And if you were in the crowd and you didn't get a tear in your eye or a little goosebump here and there, then you might want to go to the doctor and get your blood pressure checked. Because I think you're flatlined.
Yeah, the guy with the cavalry, his
When
hat.
he got his hat replaced.
I wanted to cry. I was like, "Oh,
Well,
it's so sweet."
Okie that's been there. We've known Okie for a long time. He's been a supporter of ours, and it's Chuck Wagon world, he's like notorious. I had no idea.
92 years old,
World War II.
World War II, and was he?
I'm not sure. I
think,
don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess
World
up.
War II, the oldest living Range Riders member.
I mean, it was the list went on and
Yeah,
on and
just
on and on, and I was thinking to
The
myself,
awards he's won and for service to this country and the stories he could tell.
well,
good
the stories he
grief, 'cause
can tell, but never once did I realize. I knew he was a veteran, but I did not realize the accolades and honors he had had. And so, that right there is just priceless. And then you
Yeah.
kick off with, the event starts, and we realize at that moment that it was serious business. Like, we're here free, thanks to those guys. And so that was a highlight of my weekend.
Yeah.
And then we got a winner out of the deal for our WRCA World Championship Ranch Rodeo, and we're going to welcome back Wilson Cattle and EC Cattle Company right out of Canyon, Texas area. So kudos to them.
It's really neat.
Yeah, it's neat. And then Burns Ranch, Tongue River, and then Alfalfa Landing Cattle. It was a great rodeo.
It really was. They
It was a
did
good
it.
rodeo.
It was really interesting to see the mix between the UPRA rodeo and them adding in the ranch rodeo into it. I was like, that's neat.
It was neat.
I've never seen them like mixed together, so I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool.
It was neat for her, but Lehman, I have to say a funny real quick. When they kicked off the bareback riding, I was standing back there getting my pills and powders in order, and I see that bareback rider kick off, and I said, what the heck, beep, what the heck, beep, is going on? Like I got,
Stop, everybody! We got a problem.
we got a problem. And it dawned on me, and Kelly McCloy goes, hey, we're mixed up. I was like, oh, yes, train. In my head was not, I wasn't geared up for that. I thought I had a time warp.
Well,
I thought I was in the
one
wrong
of our
place.
one of our ranch teams I saw they posted on social media like Sunday talking about the weekend. And they said it was kind of cool because you don't go to a WRCA ranch rodeo and get to sit and watch bull riding.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Friday's
So-
bulls knocked everybody out. I was like, dang.
They thought it was kind of cool. The guys are riding their broncs, and there's fireworks going off all over in the background. And then they finished with bull riding. They were kind of, that was kind of a neat little
America.
experience. America
We had
all
a
over.
lot of
America.
segues into another event.
Yes.
So we had a great weekend, and the stock, thanks to the people who provided the stock, thanks to Alan McCloy and his team. Golly, that crew worked together, keeping those cowboys safe. Our judges were good. Tim Fuller and Tina Wade helped us up top in the crow's nest, and I don't know, there was a lot going on. I was actually telling Lehman and Peyton, I said, I feel like I've worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of championship. It was exhausting, so the range rider guys have got to be just as exhausted, if not more, because they've been working at it really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cold. It was such a cold event, I wanted to wear my jacket the whole weekend.
Right.
It was not chapstick friendly either.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Shay, you ready to call Rhodey? Let's get him on the
we
phone.
can
Talk
definitely call
to
Rhodey.
the winner.
What?
Rhodey Wilson, what's up, bud?
Oh, that's it. How are you doing?
Oh man, we're good. We're good. Just sitting here kicking the dirt a little bit on the weekend at Range Riders, and wanted to reach out to you and get some of your thoughts on how the rodeo went. We
Yes,
talked
sir.
a little about the format of merging in on this deal with the UPRA. From your perspective, competing and all, how'd you feel about all that?
It was definitely something different. It's something that us at Range Riders had talked about doing. The last several years, the Range Riders Rodeo is, they hadn't got much of a crowd. There's just so much to do in Amarillo, I guess, 4th of July weekend. So they just wanted to do something different, and we kind of got together and decided a ranch rodeo just because it's growing. Anyway, so we kind of come to the conclusion that we would do a ranch rodeo, and then the 3 most exciting events in rodeo, which being the rough stock events, and just put them together and thought we'd try it. And I think it worked. I mean, Friday night was standing room only at the Range Riders rodeo. I mean, I don't know exactly. I hadn't heard a head count, but I do know they sold it out. And that's doing something at Range Riders. That's a pretty big facility.
I think it was their largest Friday night group, or crowd, in
They
many,
said-
many years.
I think they've been having the rodeo for 79 years, and they said they can maybe one other time they've had more people, and that was whenever it was out north of town, out on the boulevard or whatever. But other than that, that's the biggest crowd they've ever had other than one year. So I think the Range Riders is very excited about it. There was some of them Range Riders guys that, they were coming up and thanking me, and, had never seen a ranch rodeo really to speak of, or never had put one on, and they loved it. We talked Sunday morning after the rodeo and already talking about how to make next year bigger and better. So
I think they were a little bit surprised, Rhodey. Some of them had
I
that
think-
deer in headlights when they realized how competitive we were. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I know they
yeah.
didn't think we were like a pumpkin roll and just coming in to have it, but how
no.
serious. How
Oh yeah,
serious it got.
that's a big deal. Like I said, this year I don't know how many rodeos they're going to get to have. They're canceling rodeos left and right, and to get to compete in a rodeo like that, to get a spot for the world championship, it's great.
Well, everyone was pretty
So-
hungry. And to top it off, the winner, let's give kudos to Range Riders, because
Oh,
Wilson
Yeah,
Cattle
they-
and EC Cattle get their entry fees paid for the World Championship. And that's pretty big deal to these guys to have their entry fees.
there's something else. We kind of agreed on that when we first started talking about this back in probably February, and then they decided that that they didn't announce it, but we've talked about doing it, and they're gonna pull through with it. They're gonna buy everybody's motel rooms. Everybody on the team gets a motel room right across the street from the Civic Center down there at the new motel.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, it's that was as big a win, as winning the rodeo. That's awesome that the
Yeah.
Range Riders
A
stepped
lot of
out.
support. A lot of support.
And Big Morrison, Big Morrison, he did a great job putting all that together, and I bet he might still be laid up somewhere. He worked his butt off all week long.
We kept going back and forth to the hospitality tent. It wasn't to get beer.
yeah.
We ran them out of water.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Terry
Yep.
Rich said that won't happen next year.
Yep. Terry did a good job. I got to know Terry. He was on board. We had a meeting to start this rodeo off back in February, and Terry and Vic and a couple other of the Range Riders and I got together, and that's what we come up with. And like I said, Brooke and I were back up there at 7:00 Sunday morning, sorting all the cattle and get all the cattle back home and everything. And we talked to Vic that morning first thing, and that was the first thing that was thought of. What can we do next year to even make it better? And I thought it was great this year.
I did
So-
too. Saturday rolled a lot better than Friday. Well, it's like dress
Yeah.
rehearsal. Your first one out,
Oh yeah,
and
you bet.
kudos to Alan.
Everybody kind of knew. Everybody kind of knew what to expect Saturday night. Friday night, it was like I said, running the rodeo, UPRA rodeo in with the WRCA rodeo. It was a little hectic, And then Saturday night they had a team roping, and so some of us competed in the ranch
Yeah.
rodeo and the team roping. So you were in back-to-back events.
Well, yeah, Shade Edbauer, he was entered in the
Yeah,
saddle
he
bronc
was
riding.
in there. Yes, he was entered in the saddle bronc riding and then on a team as well. So
Behind the chutes, Rody, real quick, this is kind of funny. There was a bull rider. I don't know where he was from, but he was there right at the beginning, and he was unloading all his stuff, and doing what they do. And then it was time for the ranch bronc riding. Well, he no bigger than a minute, right? And all of a sudden, if nobody was back there, and then the guys finished the stray gathering, and then all these people started pouring over the panels to get on their broncs. And his eyes got as big as flying saucers. He's like, what is going on? How did they do that?
Yeah,
How did they
yeah.
make that change from that and then this? Don't they need time to prep? But he was a really good guy. He was very nice and very cordial, but everyone had a little bit of this shock moment when we rolled in. And I'm just
Yeah.
excited it worked out for him and excited that we've got one right here.
You bet. No, we've got big plans for next year. Like I said, we've got a meeting with the Range Riders guys. So we're meeting next Monday night, or this coming Monday night, I should say. And like I said, we're already going to start for next year to see what we can do to make it better for everybody. Being the WRCA, to everybody. So we're very excited to get to be a part of it as well.
Before we jump into how the rodeo went for you guys, I'm curious, like we talk about this merge of format, and people that aren't competitive in either rodeo or ranch rodeo may not understand how that works, but I'm curious from y'all's side where you're having to compete. What was it hard getting kind of prepared for doing an event and then maybe waiting a little bit and doing another event and switching gears between those? Was that something that took a little adjustment?
It could be good or bad to me. If you have good momentum going, you want to keep it going. You want to try to, if you say you win the stray gather and you want to be first out in the cow milking, to keep that momentum going, the good momentum, but then, so it could kind of go both ways, but I enjoy rodeo as much as anything. I enjoy watching a good saddle bronc ride or I stayed until the end. I like watching them bulls and the bull riding. Everybody's so competitive nowadays. The bulls are, there was some PBR bulls there Saturday night, and to me, I enjoy watching that as much as anything. So, but yes, it was kind of sometimes you kind of want to hurry up and keep the good momentum going, and you go back there and set back, you kind of lose thought a little bit, maybe.
Right. Get your
You know, the
focus
next
back
event.
again.
Unless
Yeah.
you're in the
Correct.
team pinning and you wanted those cattle to settle just a minute. We didn't
Oh my
want
gosh, yeah,
Isn't
we
that
were
crazy?
first out Friday, and the cattle were absolutely horrible, and I owned them, and they were horrible, and then everybody was a nervous wreck, and they just got better and better and better, which
Yes.
I'm glad, because I was a nervous wreck because I want it to be a good rodeo. I mean,
Sure.
I don't want my name to be on something that's not good. But the cattle, the very first team, we were first out, and they were, I mean, I thought it was going to be a wreck, and they just end up getting better and better and better. Some of them have a little heck, but that's just part of the team pinning, I mean.
Well, everyone had a fair shot. I mean.
Oh yeah, it was the
just,
same for everybody. We had the chance to have a sorting or a pinning, and the range riders, they voted on having a pinning, and a pinning's tough anywhere you go. I mean, you see it at the championship every year. I mean, it takes a lot of teams out. I mean, it can be feast or famine. So.
Well, and then you got a big pin like Range Riders opposed to Civic Center. That goes a long way to get them down their pin.
That is a big pin. They could have let everybody in the arena, and it probably would have helped a little bit. But, so.
What other parts of the rodeo do you feel like really separated you guys? What'd you see that kind of made the difference for y'all to get the win, Rody?
We got along really good in the Brandon. I think we won the Brandon Friday night and won second Saturday night. Was really good for us. We won the Stray Gathering both nights. Waylon Davis rides our bronc, and I mean, he needs no introduction. I mean, he's as cowboy as they come. Alan McCloy bought a bunch of young horses. Some of them, hadn't been bucked much at all. I mean, a lot of those colts, he didn't even really know what they were going to do. He just basically said, hang on, and Waylon did an outstanding job in the bronc riding. I mean, he free-handed both broncs, and that's kind of unheard of on them colts like that. You don't ever know where they're going to go or what they're going to do, if they're going to over. And Waylon, he did a really, really good job in the bronc riding. I think he won split third the first night, and I think he won third the second night. So we were very consistent those three events. And the team pinning, we didn't draw really, really good, but we got them pinned is about all we did. I mean, we were down kind of towards the bottom in the team pinning both nights. And then the cow milking, we were kind of in the middle on that, maybe a little above average on that. I think we won third the first night and maybe fourth or fifth the second night. So, but just overall, I think just overall we did, we just kind of stayed steady overall. So.
Well, you don't have to win every event to come out with a win at these things, and the caliber's gotten so rough that you stub your toe, it'll take you to the back. So if you're consistent, as you well know, Rody, those numbers, if you're consistent, you want to be high in the consistency, but it's caliber. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, used to, when I first started ranch rodeoing, you basically had one event. You could have one hiccup. I mean, you could have one no time, and still get along okay. Nowadays, I mean, everybody has a good team nowadays. Everybody has a good bronc rider. Everybody ropes good. I mean, these people are going out and buying good horses to compete on. You can't stub your toe anymore and still win. Every now and then you might can, but I don't think there was but 3 teams that had a time in every event both days.
There was 4. One, but Rody, there was 4.
Was there 4? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know of the 4th one, but I mean, 4 out of 12. That's, I mean, that anymore. You can't afford to stub your toe anymore. I mean, like I said, everybody ropes good nowadays. Everybody works at it. I mean, those guys they had a big World Series team roping in Hereford that weekend, and half of the ranch rodeo guys were at the team roping during the day and ranch rodeo at night. Everybody's so competitive. Everybody wants to win, and it's just it's changed a bunch.
Well, the horses have changed a bunch, Rody.
Oh my gosh!
Everyone's pretty well mounted.
I agree, and some of the guys that aren't making them, I mean, they go buy them, and I don't. That's fine too. I mean, I'm in the business of selling horses, so it's good for everybody, and I like to see that it's so competitive. I mean, used to it was, you had 2 or 3 or 4 teams out of 15 that was, you know, everywhere you went, they won the same thing. At that rodeo we went to this weekend, anybody there had a chance. I mean,
Yes,
and it wasn't over till Saturday night. I mean, it come down to the cow milking. I mean, it honestly did. There was 3 teams there that had a chance to win it going into the very last event. After 9 events, it comes down to the very last event, you know, to decide who wins the rodeo.
And it got tough. It got
Yeah,
tough.
and you were separated. First and second was only separated by 1.5.
Oh, wow.
So you
Exactly.
you
And
guys
we
them
come
girls.
in, you know, and we come in leading. I believe we come into the cow milk and winning it by 3 points, and they gained 1.5 on us. So, you know, we stub our toe just a little bit, and we win second, you know, and so it's very competitive nowadays. And
Well, you have another competitive person in the pickup with you, so I'm glad that Brooke, give her credit, because she's the one that keeps you guys
I
in
do.
order. Yes, sir.
that's right. And Brooke's on the team this year.
Yes, sir.
We haven't got her talked into going to riding in the arena yet, but I did tell her this year for the tickets, we didn't need a ticket for her because she was going to be down there in the grand entry with us, and
Yes, she better
I don't
be.
know that she really liked that part, but
I'm just on reserve.
No, you're not. You
So-
come out there and you rope with the best of them, so don't you ever
Yep,
cut yourself
yep.
short.
and she won at the World Series this weekend.
See?
So
Way to go.
she won at the team roping, and anyway, so
She's
no,
got a
it's-
women's
I-
ranch rodeo in WRRCA.
We're going to WRCA Friday night. We're up Saturday night, but we're going Friday night because she's got to be there for the ranch rodeo Saturday morning. So
That's right.
anyway,
That's right. Yay.
Well, congrats, Rhodey. Tell the
Well,
whole
I-
gang, you know, congrats on getting back. You know, this is the 25th anniversary. How many you been at, Rhodey?
Oh, he's probably
I
22.
I'm not sure. I think this will be number 16, I believe, that I've been to.
And how many you walked away with the world championship title?
I've won it 3 times.
3 times. There you go.
Top hand.
Yep, one
Top hand,
won
top horse.
hand once, and I've won top hand 5 different times. I've won top horse 5 times and won top hand once.
There you go.
So, and
There you go.
that means I would rather do this than I had to do anything. I mean, this is what I enjoy, riding and making good horses, and winning top horse is that
Quite the
that means
honor.
more to me than.
Yep.
I want to win the rodeo. I mean, I go to win the rodeo, but you know, if the horse deal is what we live for. I mean, that's we ride and rope and you know, try to better our horses every day. So
Well, sure, it's a workable tool, and they are what you put into them. And if you
You
don't
bet.
waste them,
absolutely.
don't waste
Yeah.
them.
Well, thanks for everything you did to help range riders put together that sanctioned rodeo. As a member of
helped
Range
us.
Riders, and a member of WRCA, you know, your help and collaboration there, Rhodey, is very much appreciated. And pass along our thanks
Absolutely.
to everybody out there. And you guys need anything, I'm assuming you're going to stop by the office here pretty quick, Brooke.
Why does
Yes,
Brooke
we
have to do
will.
it?
You know why.
Yeah,
Brooke's
yeah.
doing it.
I'll send Brooke in there, and she might want to get 2 tickets. She might have somebody she wants to sit in the stands with, so she don't have to be down there with us. So,
Well, we'll see you guys soon. You need anything, give us a shout. But congrats on getting that win, Rhodey.
Lehman, thank y'all very much for everything you and Casey and everybody at the WRCA does.
You bet. Get Waylon's hand healed up. God, he's a hand.
Yeah, Oh man, he is. Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch somebody that's like him. I mean,
Yep.
freehand them broncs the way he does it. I promise you, there ain't no back down in Waylon Davis.
No, there is
so,
not. No, there is not.
Anyway,
He
There-
makes it fun.
Yep.
He sets the precedence, and a lot of those guys, little do people know, but behind the buck and shoots, he comes out free-handed, and if you saw, he set the caliber Friday night, and a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of them took a night latch on those younger horses, and Waylon's like, to heck with them,
Yep.
roll them. And
Yep,
it's,
that's right.
it's cool.
Yep.
It's cool to watch. So be careful. We'll see you this coming weekend, guys.
Sounds great. Thank y'all very much.
See you, Rhodey.
So on the note of top hand and top horse, y'all have the winners for this weekend.
Yes, Rhodey mentioned those 2 awards. very, very important to recognize the individual contributions. We talk about the ranch teams all the time, and those teams are made up of good horses and good cowboys. So on the top horse side, we have SR Surprise Party. Goes by Queso.
I love horse names.
Yeah, SR Surprise Party, ridden by Robert Forst and owned by Stewart Ranch out of Oklahoma. So good job for raising a good one. That's a ranch bred and ranch raised horse. Then the top hand, thanks to Wrangler and Twisted X for supporting that award, it went to Colton Mayo from Burns Ranch, and he dang
did.
sure earned it.
He did earn it.
That's
Dang
awesome.
sure
He
earned
sure
it.
did. And we were talking about who won the rodeo, but on second, Burns was chomping at the bit like a crazy border collie behind him all weekend long. And they were tough. They were tough. That team, I mean, everyone is mounted and everyone's out for a little bit of that
Yeah.
prize at the end.
Point and a half, that's all it was.
That's
That
crazy.
point and a half could have been captured at any point, boom, boom, any spot during the rodeo. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, and then we've got some rodeos this weekend. So I've never actually known how to pronounce WRRR until today.
WRRR,
Wow.
hottest place on the map outside Coffeyville, Kansas.
I've never known how to pronounce that until today.
WRRR will
nailed it.
wreck you in the heat.
We're in a busy stretch here, Hooper.
Yes, we are.
This month has got lots going on. So you're making the trip to WRRR.
Yeah, Wreck Me Rika. And I'm going to go there and watch Don Reno bring some good broncs again. And so we're talking about Waylon. He'll tap one off there, and he'll get his proof will be in the pudding. They bring in tough teams as well. So that leaves us with the qualified ranch teams right now. We've got Singleton, Sandhill, Thompson Ranch, and Wilson. So we're looking at some pretty big players, and now we're going to get some more big players coming on. So now they're going to be hungry. So about this time of year, you start seeing them really lower the hat just a little bit more.
Get a little bit more competitive.
Oh, yeah, it's already pretty competitive, but now the heat's on. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. And
Fun
then the
watching.
second rodeo we got this weekend.
Council Grove, Kansas.
Yep.
Peyton better bring me some strawberry pie.
Well, I tried that one time,
You
but
did, but you ate it.
I did.
That's okay. And Craig was on your side.
I didn't make
Shay-
it like 5 miles outside of town, and that pie got ate. So I don't know what happened.
I'm glad to see Shane here. I think she'd be on my side when it comes.
Yeah, if you got me a strawberry pie and then ate it, I'd be kind of upset.
You should be, but if you were in my shoes, you'd understand, because it's good pie.
It is good pie.
It's good pie.
I've never had a good strawberry.
From
Well-
the Hayes house, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Clay Wilson will stack and pack, and I bet Don Reno will split it and have some up there. And I don't know how they're going to do that, actually, because he brings the bucking horses for up there, too. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to have, actually, now that I just thought of it. I don't really know what we're going to have for bucking horses. But they put on a great rodeo. Council Grove has been one of ours for a very long time, and that country is really neat. Council Grove, Kansas is a really cool place to go.
Yeah. Both of these rodeos are going to have some great cowboys, great horses there. And it's pretty country of its own right. I know WRRR, you just drive up north of town, and then boom, it opens up into this little draw, and there's just an arena sitting there. and then the town grows by about 200%.
Yes.
That's crazy.
For that
Yes.
rodeo, and it's like a family reunion, Casey.
is.
Everybody
I'll get-
sees each other.
I'm so excited to see the Golson family, and so excited to see people I hadn't seen in a while. It means more to us to go to these rodeos than just going to a rodeo and announce a winner for a world championship. We've got scholarship winners in a lot of these areas. Carly Bell Golson be one of them, and so you become this, not blood related, but you become hooked with these families, and so you look forward to seeing them throughout the year. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And then, Shay, we wanted to touch on the Oliver's celebration. Yeah, it's going to be back at Range Riders. What is that?
July 25th from 6 to 9 p.m.
Yes. So
So
if you're
Had a lot of
hanging
teams
hanging
asking.
local and you want to go watch something really cool, it's a 3-in-1 as they call it, and kind of a really interesting format on, how they do that.
Yeah, they'll pick three, and you do it all at one time.
3
They'll
events
have-
and boom,
yeah.
boom, boom.
And they'll have an open bronc riding, I believe,
As well, yes.
as well on
So-
top of that. But this weekend, a lot of those guys were like, well, we kind of want to come back to Amarillo because the hospitality was so good.
Yes.
So how do we get this ring? How do we get a hold of Oliver's? So go ahead and tell them.
So I don't know about the books for the ranch rodeo so far, but the open ranch bronc ride, you can just call up there and they'll put your name down, I think.
Yeah,
So-
call Oliver Saddle Shop.
Or you can head on over there too.
Yeah, even better, go check them out because you probably need something.
It is nice in that
Yeah.
shop. I love that shop. One of my roommate, my freshman year of college, she actually worked for Oliver's for like 3 years, and I would always meet her up there and just like walk around because it's cool to look at. But you know, I didn't grow up in any of this, so all of
Aw.
it's like super fun to watch now. So
you have the great perspective of it then.
I've gotten hooked on it. I think it's awesome. So. Well, you know, it's always nice chit-chatting with you guys, and I get to do it for once this time. So
Yes.
I always have fun talking to y'all. So
We're going to have to tell Craig he can just stay home from now on.
I know we're kind of minding our manners.
I know, we're trying to be nice to Shay.
it's fine now. Y'all can be mean to me. It's okay. It wouldn't be the first person's.
We're not mean. We just get out of track every once